T.C. Coy, who is one of the professors, a doctor, Ph.D., and one of the professors at the University of Illinois, and you know how important that is because of what the governor announced here yesterday. Please give him a warm round of applause. And thank you. He's going to take us to school.
Thank you. Good morning or good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. For the past 30 years, I was working in Taiwan. Among them, 20 years, I was very fortunate to participate in the construction of the Taiwan high-speed rail. In this 20 years involvement, I was able to participate in the project from the inception of the project to the planning, to the design, to the construction, to the commission, and in operation now. What I feel quite excited today is because what you are in are such a situation that 20 years we were there. And what you are looking for, your dream is our reality in Taiwan now. So that's what I was very excited about participating in this conference. After I have finished construction of the Taiwan high-speed rail, in year of 2000, Professor Barkan, which Governor Quinn praised him as the most distinguished rail scholar in this country, who went to Taiwan in 2008, June, 2 months after President Obama announced his plan. He went to Taiwan and he told me, we would like you to come to the United States to teach us your 20 years experience in the high-speed rail. And so, from year of 2010, last year, I started my teaching in the United States in University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign. I started my teaching of the first generation of the United States high-speed rail engineer students. And many of them are here today. They are volunteer for this conference. They're wearing the red hat.
Let's give them a round of applause.
So when you finish this conference and go out of this room, please give them a pat on their shoulder and say, good job. With all this, I'd like to bring you back 20 years ago in Taiwan, how we started the project, and how we eventually end up with privatization of public-private participation of the project. I will tell you the process we go through. And this process may be as a good reference for you. What experience we learned, the good experience can be your reference. The bad reference, the bad experience can for you to avoid. So that is what I'm going to do today, two parts. One is my story, my 20-year story in a nutshell. Second is my suggestion for your way forward. With all this, let me start with my first slide. For some of you may not be familiar with Taiwan. Taiwan is 3 miles long from one end to the other end. It's about the distance from Chicago to St. Louis. It's about 100 miles wide. This is state of Illinois. You are 4 times bigger than us. 4 times bigger than us. We are small, but we are cute. Why? Why we want to build a high-speed rail? It was in the 1970s, 1980s. Our economy was growing very good. Our economy was skyrocketing. Double-digit economic growth. Consequently, our freeway look like your freeway. It's all congested. Our traffic jam start from 6 o'clock in the morning until 6 o'clock in the next morning. So we have to think about all alternatives to resolve the problem. Do we build the third high-speed rail, third interstate highway, or do we do some improvement on our current railroad, or do we introduce the tilting train to increase the current speed of the train? Finally, we decide none of this work. What we need is high-speed rail. So in year of 1990, our government say we want to build a high-speed rail, and we create an office to implement this project. In the same, this year is quite interesting year. In the same year, there are two Asian countries try to build a high-speed rail. Besides Taiwan, it's Korea. Both of them decide to build high-speed rail, and they are trying to become the number 6 high-speed rail country in the world, compete neck to neck. However, in 1993, our Tea Party, like what you have, ambushed the budget of the high-speed rail. They cut the budget to $1. The crisis is good too. I think I heard one of the gentlemen said, the mayor of Chicago have a sentence. There is no crisis he cannot take advantage. The Taiwan government take advantage of this crisis and make it become the first privatized high-speed rail in the world. So the Taiwan high-speed rail now is the first PPP high-speed rail and the only one in the world which is running at the present time. Without this crisis, there's no story of mine. So in year of 1993, between year of 1993 to 1997, our project stopped. We are creating the law for private participation. So the law for private participation is the first step. So when Alan told me that he is a lawyer, I told him, you are the one which is needed for the U.S. high-speed rail. Why our Tea Party cut the budget out? Because they don't trust the government. It's like you. They don't trust the government in carrying out this major construction, major development project. They said, you guys always tell me that you can do it in 5 years and end up 10 years. You told me 10 billion and you end up with 20 billion. And I have been a sucker, been cheated by you so many times, and not this time. Okay, so that is the reason. So unless you can invite the private party to participate, otherwise I won't let you do it. So that's the start of the story. Our way of PPP is called BOT, which means the government did all the initial planning, pave all the road, so that the contractor can come in, the concessionaire can come in to do the construction and operation. And this construction risk and operation risk is what the concessionaire can do best. Then after 35 years of construction and operation, all this had to be go back to the government without any penny. But the government say, I know that. In 35 years, you may not be able to get all your investment back. So whatever you cannot get back, plus your profit, I'm going to subsidize that part to you. But only one shot, only one shot. I'm not going to feed you year in, year out. I'm going to give you that money in one shot at the beginning. And then you have to carry out your responsibility. Subsequently, under this kind of scheme, whoever asks the lowest subsidies will be the winner. And that is the subject of the tender. Okay, so that's the scheme. Under this scheme, Taiwan immediately divided into two parts. All the industries grouped into two big groups, each one with hundreds, main contractors, subcontractors, subcontractors. The first one is called China High-Speed Rail Corporation Consortium, which is led by Mr. Liu. He is the student of the president at that time, Mr. Lee. The other consortium is the Taiwan High-Speed Rail Consortium, which is led by 5 young entrepreneurs from 5 successful private companies. One of them you probably familiar very well. It's called Evergreen Container. And you see Evergreen Container running through United States quite often. They also have this EVA Air. And then there's a very successful Taiwan bank. It's called Fubon Bank. There's a company called TECO, which is the world's largest motor company. And then there is this Continental Engineering Company led by this lady. So 5 of them comes in as an underdog. Everybody thinks they have no hope because the political tie is not as good. So people think, in this group think, we got to do something. Something the government cannot refuse. So what they did is very extraordinary. The China High-Speed Rail Corporation told the government, Mr. Government, I can do your work, but you got to give me $5 billion US, and I can build this, operate it, and I will give it back. Taiwan High-Speed Rail Corporation said, Mr. Government, you don't need to give me a penny. I can all subsidize this project. In fact, I'm going to give back what you used. You pay for the land, 3.3 billion. I'm going to give it back later on when I make the money. It is a very daring move, and that caused a lot of difficulty for the consortium. However, the consortium still carry out the work, finished the construction, and is in operation at the present time. So this is the world's first private high-speed rail. It is from Taipei to Kaohsiung, 345 kilometers. It's about 220 miles. The construction started year of 2000. It complete 2006, in operation 2007. This is a view of the Taiwan high-speed rail going out of Taipei. On the left-hand side is the old conventional railroad. On the right-hand side is the newly built high-speed rail. This is the part going through the center part of the Taiwan. This is the part going through the south of Taiwan. We have a lot of viaducts. That is the trend for build high-speed rail at the present time in the world. All our stations are architectural masterpieces. They look very pretty. This is the Southern Station. The Southern Station is a hub of Taiwan high-speed rail on this side, conventional railroad on this side, and subway underneath. We have a gentleman here, Andy Ellison. He is sitting there. He is the resident architect of this project, of this station.
Let's give him a round of applause.
Thanks, Andy. Please stay in Taiwan and help us build the project. So, we use the Shinkansen 700 series. It operates at speed of 300 kilometers per hour. At that time, it's the highest speed in the world. So, what you are talking about, how it is going to affect you in your life. Let me tell you how it had affect us in our life. After the construction of the Taiwan high-speed rail, our original country was separated by distance, by traveling into 7 cities. After we have the freeway, the convenience of the transportation still make it into 3 metropolitan areas. But with the construction of Taiwan high-speed rail, our country become 1 city. From one end of Taiwan to another end of the Taiwan is 90 minutes. Essentially, it becomes 1 city. Taiwan becomes smaller. The blue Taiwan becomes the red Taiwan in perception. In the middle part of the people think Taiwan look like this now. In the southern part of the city, of the people think Taiwan look like this now. We also have a project which is parallel to this building high-speed rail. It's to build a new town. Our old town was too congested. Also, this scheme of building the new town is also to develop properties, resident areas. So there are 5 new towns around the 5 stations. This income of the development will come in, become government's money to support this project. So basically, the whole scheme of the government is $0. Okay, using the development of the property to support the development of the project. Our life changes. The high-speed rail become a new toy to us. Restaurants, business around the high-speed rail become a sightseeing spot. In the weekend, it's exciting to sit on the wayside cafe watching the train passing by at 300 kilometers per hour. So high-speed rail affect everybody, even the wayside cafe. High-speed rail also changed our life. For the past, we can only enjoy the hot tub in the concrete forest. Now, in the weekend, you can afford to go out of the city, enjoy the real hot spring in the forest. Life do not have to be long distance. Homecoming. Our busiest time of the train is in the weekend. It's from Friday morning to Monday morning. It's our busiest time. People can go home to visit. It changes our human relationship. Grandpa at home can get a company from the grandchild. I talk about this change. I talk about this change to many people. Last week I was in France. I was not talking about this, but the French people, they volunteer told me that they think the best of what high-speed rail has done to them is changing their human relationship. They visit each other much more often. So this probably is a part which I didn't hear from this conference. But it's really change. It changed our human relationship. Our ridership, our train is very crowded in the weekend. This is our ridership. How our ridership built in this time. We didn't do too well for the first 2-3 years. There's something thanks to you for doing that, because your Wall Street people didn't do too well. So we suffered. So it was 2007 we opened, and 2008 you start messing up. Okay, but anyway, we go through that, and now we are carrying 105,000 people per day. 105,000 people per day. 122 trains per day. And it's crowded. The most crowded time is the weekend. It's 120,000 per day for the weekend. So that's our situation. I think all of you want to ask me the next question. Can it afford itself? It cannot quite afford itself for the first 3 years. Okay, has to do with lower ridership. Also has to do with another thing. Is we had to pay the depreciation, which investment in a linear way. Okay, so in this 3 years' time, the income is enough to pay for operation, maintenance, and all the interest, which is equal part to the operation and maintenance. And pay some of the investment. So consequently, we didn't try to do it. We have a loss at this part in the book. So the government tried to help us on this. The government talked to the banker and said, can you sort of ease them in the first part of the principal payment and let them pay more in the future? I see their book can show that. So with the help of the government and the increase of the ridership, our number for year of operation come out with 2 million net income. The money we make now is enough to pay for operation, maintenance, interest, and profit. So that is the story of our story. Now let me bring you back to your country. Your country is a great country. You have great leader. Your leader will have a vision. Try to rebuild yourself by building the high-speed rail. And he has a good second man that I have to compliment. I even know that you have a very big project to carry out this midway high-speed rail. And that, I think I'm excited to be in Illinois and to be in this country and to be participate in the program what the Governor Quinn has announced yesterday. To me, this is not just a simple project. This project actually, to me, the region of this mid-high-speed rail is like France, where you don't have any high-speed rail. The France has built a high-speed rail like this. And I was also told your economy is bigger than France. So I think there's no reason you cannot build it. Besides this, France can do it, Taiwan can do it. Why you cannot do it? So what I see is this. Your project from Chicago to St. Louis is but a Taiwan high-speed rail project, 300 miles long. It's a Taiwan high-speed rail project. Our economy probably is number 30, 40, 50 in the world. We can build it, why you cannot? So I think if you can build it and make it a model of the United States, or the Midwest at least, then what you can see is this. You have a cookie cutter. Then you can build another Taiwan high-speed rail. And then you can build another Taiwan high-speed rail. And then you can build another Taiwan high-speed rail. Okay, so what I see is this. This is a four-region economy. This four-regional economy is with Chicago as the center of the point. I see it's this big propeller. This big propeller is going to propel Midwest into the world, and you can compete. You can compete in the world market. Otherwise, what I am seeing is each one of your city is being outcompeted. I visit your city. It's doomed in the Midwest. Businesses are closed. Factories are closed. I heard yesterday, it's heartbroken. 10,000 people work in a factory and it's closed. And the 10,000 people is out on the street. That's hurt. So what I see is you are trying to compete single-handed with each city, with the world. It's like a chopstick. You are being slipped by the world competition. What a high-speed rail can do for you? High-speed rail can bundle you together. After it becomes a bundle, you are unbreakable. So, there is a chance for you, a golden chance, as long as you don't mess it up. What is the chance? The chance is what we are talking about today. The PPP. Why? Why is the PPP so important? I see. I heard you people talk about you have opponent. Your opponent is right too. You are right, but your opponent is right. God built two kinds of people. One kind of people sees all the green in the golf course. Another kind of people sees all the puddles in the golf course. And they both right. God gives birth about all of these people for a reason. Because what you are, can I we back for the last slide? Can I back for the last slide? What your opponent is afraid of what may be behind your backpack, behind your head. You also worry about this. You worry about your government undertake a risk which it cannot undertake. And you are worried about this high-speed rail project is going to turn out to become a white elephant. And you have to feed this white elephant day in and day out once it's built. So the key to it is PPP. What PPP can do? PPP can do is to reappropriate this risk to the people who can best handle it. Once the risk gets reappropriated, it will be mitigated. So you are talking about less risk, and the risk is in good hands. And that is the trick. So how Taiwan did it? The first thing Taiwan did is to set up the law. This law is to protect the concessionaire. Without this, private party won't come in. And also to frame the private party. This is all you can do. You cannot make profit outside of this. You cannot become a giant devil or animal. After that, the government has a base to write a contract with this party, a private party. Also, one of the important things in this legislation is that you have to dedicate who is going to be in charge of this project. And so private investor know who he is dealing, and the people he is dealing has what kind of right. Sometimes you have to do a lot of groundwork to pave the road for them. You have to acquire the land for them to do. You have to get important permit like EIA, EIR, and some basic study. So that not all of them have to repeat the work. Okay? Once this is done, this takes us 4 years to do it. Once this is done, the rest part is easy. Construction is all within the fence of the right-of-way. It's easy. 5 years. So 9 years, you can do this. Give another 1 year extra for contingency, 10 years. I hope I answer Andy's question. No, Tom, your question. Mm-hmm. When, yeah. Okay, I answer this in this slide. So this is what we write into the contract. What we write into the contract say, Mr. Concessionaire, you have to construct the high-speed rail within my right-of-way. With the alignment I give to you, you are not allowed to deviate. You have to construct it according to my specification. The train you provide to me had to be able to transport so many passengers within 90 minutes from one end of Taiwan to the other end of Taiwan. You can only charge your passenger 12 cents per kilometer per person, with 20% up and down for your adjustment with escalation rate. So that are all specified. And at the end of your construction, I hired an independent consultant, verification and validator, to accept your project. If you do that, I give you 35 years, right? I also give you piece of land in front of our station, your station, and you have 50 years right to use it for commercial use, to supplement your income. And I also will inject your project in one time only, and that is the part which you are not recoverable, and which, of course, I am profit of it because I got the project back, and I know in these 35 years, I don't have to build another freeway. And I save those money, and I will subsidize you here. So that's what government say, and government say, I will give you the land, I will give you subsidies, and I also promise that I will not build the second high-speed rail to compete with you within your operation time. Okay, so that is all in it. And this is the town development scheme I'm talking about. The town is developed around the city, the station, and Taiwan High-Speed Rail has a piece of the land in front of the station for income, extra income. So this is the way I want to propose to you, the way you should do. The way you should do is to get out, first of all, your encouragement act or your legal basis for the investor who can come in to protect the investor and protect the general public, and also set the basic rule for the game. I think also you have to acquire your right of way clear and clean, so that the investor know that he have no other risk outside of the fence.